Hey, Geekscapists, welcome to a brand new Geekscape podcast. I'm Jonathan London, your host. And if this is your first Geekscape, well, strap yourselves in for some pop culture talk, movies, video games, comic books, TV. We usually cover that kind of stuff on Geekscape. We've been doing the show for a bit. Maybe you've been with us. Maybe this is your first Geekscape. Either way, welcome. I love having you here. I like talking to you over the expanse of the internet, and it makes me feel a little less alone. We've built quite the community here at Geekscape. We've got the 91 Donkey Lane boys on their podcast that is reaching their 100th episode right here on the Geekscape network. And we're going to have Bacon and Nate on to talk all about it. They're an improvised show, and they're hilarious. So I think you'll agree with me when we get those boys on the show. I did invite the $2 late fee guys on the show, but they had some stuff come up. So we were about to have like a serious 5-dude insanity middle-aged man party here on Geekscape, and that would have been fun, but we'll just have the $2 late fee guys on later. The Geekscape podcast network keeps growing. Speaking of which, Don and Lee from Saturday Morning Showdown are in Los Angeles, and I took them to lunch today. We caught up. They're in town from Philadelphia, and took a little vacation before Lee starts a brand new job. So congratulations on the new job, Lee. Listen to their podcast, Saturday Morning Showdown. They talk about all the Saturday morning cartoon shows that we loved as kids. So if you get that nostalgic itch, let's see, we got $2 late fee for you. If you like action, if you like 80s movies. If you like action movies, you got to go to Bulletproof Action. That's our action podcast. If you like comedy, you got 91 Donkey Lane. We got all sorts of stuff here at the network. But it was good to see Don and Lee today and talk some Saturday morning cartoons. And it's going to be good to have Bacon and Nate on. And I have no idea what we'll talk about because they do an improvised show. So maybe we have subjects. Please subscribe to Geekscape on any of your favorite podcatchers, wherever you listen to your podcasts. I do want to thank you for listening to Geekscape every week. We've got a really big episode coming up in 2 weeks. I know you thought that our Bat Week was huge 2 weeks ago, where we had the executive producer of the Batman film, Michael Uslan, and we talked about Batman. Ian and we did our Batman special, but this one, you're gonna have to circle the calendar for this one. We've got Ian and I. We're gonna go see Jared Leto in Morbius, so that one's gonna be great. And you know what? I'm not gonna doubt Sony, but they say the brand new Marvel Legend arrives. I don't think Marvel Comics has ever called Morbius a Marvel Legend. But Sony's doing it. So look forward to that. Hit the subscribe, share with your friends, and be like, these two idiots are going to go see Morbius. That ought to be fun. All right. Enough with the silliness. Let's get to Geekscape. Here we go. All right, Geekscape, it's time for Jonathan to start the show. I almost talked about myself in the third person. 15 years. Why would I start being able to do this now? Do want to say, though, that the Geekscape produced short film El Rey is at the Malibu Film Festival this week. I almost forgot that one. You can actually watch it online by going to Zolo.org. That's XOLO.org. And Zolo is like this little streaming service, and they got the Malibu Film Festival films there. You'll find El Rey, and it's like $4.99 to watch their films for a week, but there's a free week, and the festival only lasts till the 27th, and then you can't watch it anymore. So I say go to Zolo.org, go to the Malibu Film Festival page, sign up for their free week, scroll down to El Rey or any of those films from the Malibu Film Festival, and watch our 9-10 minute little movie El Rey that it has a nice fat Geekscape logo at the front end of it, because my Geekscape partner George Callert and I put that movie together, and you might even see some Geekscape characters in there. So that's there. Let me get to the comments real quick. Frank Bowen, I miss Frank. Frank's great. I used to write some of the video game dialogue with Frank way back in the video game days. He says the Expanse final season was so-so. I'm sorry about that, Frank. Matt Kelly says need more man meat. He's never met a microphone he didn't like. Frank also says he misses Saturday morning cartoons. When are they coming back? I don't know, man. I think we aged out of it. I mean, where are you Saturday mornings? I think there's so many cartoon channels now. Ruben Oleg Sweet says, I haven't been to a man party in over a decade. Have some fun for me. Don't forget the lube. You know what? To each their own. Lube, no lube, whatever we want to do. I'll leave that to Bacon and Nate. Rob Larrabee says Jared Leto is actually doing better with Marvel than DC. I will be able to tell you that in about a little over a week. Let's not count our chickens quite yet, brother. One of the Facebook users says, didn't you have a film in Malibu last year? I think that's how I found y'all. I did not. The last time we had a film in Malibu was Gay by Dawn in 2005, but we did have Chasing Fletcher Allen in festivals last year. That was a Geekscape film. We got to get that thing up for y'all to watch. Okay, that's enough. You can leave comments if you want, but I got a show to do. Okay, these are the two guys from 91 Donkey Lane. They've got their 100th episode coming up, so you really should go find them on any podcast app and subscribe to 91 Donkey Lane. It's insane, and I'll let the boys describe it to you. We got Bacon and Nate here.
Just a bunch of dudes sitting around listening to some old dude music.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with any of that.
Oh, hey, sorry, we're just jamming out.
Hey, no, that's fine. You guys do you, and I you know what? I'm glad to be invited to your deal.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, guest of honor.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to our man meat party. Just want everyone to know, to start off right off the bat, we are anti-lube.
Yeah, no lube, please.
We think it
No
ruined.
lube.
I think natural lube.
Yeah, you know.
What's the excuse you used to have in grade in like college? I just want to feel you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we're starting out on a high note.
Right here.
We're starting out on a high note here.
You see, you know what? We're gonna get the audience back though.
Yeah. You see those people who turned it off, they're going to be like, you know what? That'll accidentally start playing once I finish a podcast that I was already listening to.
Like, what a dumb, irresponsible little hornball we used to all be back in our college days to say something like that irresponsible. And I don't think I ever said that. I think I was actually a Boy Scout and was like, wait, you want to? I was just happy to be at the party. Like, you know, she could have been like, could you just be across the room and dance? Well, I do this. Like, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds great. I'm just glad to be near a girl. But yeah.
And how'd that work usually?
You know what? I finally hit my stride.
Yeah.
Hey,
I finally hit my stride for a while. Yes. We have a wedding date.
Oh, congratulations.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. But let's talk about you guys. Speaking of big numbers and anniversaries and things like that, 100 episodes.
Yeah,
this 91 Donkey Lane. Like, there's some more episodes than that, though, right? You'll have like specials and things like that. These are the numbered episodes.
Well, I mean, you can call it 100th episode if you want to downplay things, but I think, you know, it's our 20th, fifth episode spectacular. So, and once again, we're going to say it to everybody out on the Geekscape network, anybody who listens. Ira Glass, how many do you have? How many fifth episode spectaculars do you have, Ira Glass?
We have more.
We have 20. Hold on, let me check the internet.
Ira Glass has zero.
Zero for Ira Glass. So there you go. Suck on that, Ira Glass. And you know what? I don't want you to return my call anymore.
So that joke, you know how that so
the
in
fifth
case
episodes,
we lost like in case anybody's wondering, we call every fifth episode a fifth episode spectacular
because Nate goofed
in the fifth episode. I said it was a spectacular, and so we just kept going.
Yeah, he like just in conversation in like improvising. You were just like, "Yep," and this is our first 5th episode spectacular, and so then
So
we've
this
had
is our 20th.
So we're on our 20th.
How did you guys meet? You know, I know both of you guys, and like obviously I've listened to the show and I think it's effing hilarious. But like, how did y'all meet each other?
Was it the Boston Improv Festival?
Yeah,
Was that the first time?
So we had a friend that we had a mutual friend we both did comedy with, and the guy lived here in Boston. He went to an Alaskan comedy festival. Bacon happened to be at the same festival, so they became friends.
And
in Alaska.
Yes, in Alaska.
We went to the Juneau Improv Festival in Juneau, Alaska. And
is that a big deal or
no?
It's like what?
There were a lot of people there. We were the only team from Chicago, and then they were the only team from Boston.
Yeah.
And really, we just did it to be like, hey, as a group of friends, let's go on vacation together. And then we'll also do an improv show, do a couple improv shows, and it'll, be a tax write-off, I guess.
So they connect in Alaska. About a year later, Bacon comes to Boston. I've heard all about him, and everyone kept telling me you guys would be awesome. You'd be great friends if you met. So we did a show up here, and we've pretty much been friends ever since.
We hit it off.
These are stage shows. These are stage improv.
Yeah.
I
think we performed like the first time I met you. I think the longest I talked to you was on stage for the first time, right? Like we did a show together.
Yeah, we pretty much just been doing bits since then. I don't know if we've ever had a real conversation.
No, I don't know if he has any brothers or sisters. I don't know.
Have you had that
He's not
situation?
In my wedding.
Have you had that situation happen where you end up like on stage and everything, the chemistry is great, but then the second you get off stage and the person goes back into their mode, they're just like, what? This is a pod person.
Some of my favorite people to perform with are people that I've never really actually talked to outside because you have a different stage persona, and sometimes you just fit with somebody, and then you just have different lives.
A lot of times too, like you have this opposite thing where the opposite person, you have this great chemistry on stage, right? And you get off and you realize, oh, we're opposite everywhere. This is you almost like don't like them off stage.
Yeah,
I know that's happened to me before.
But hey, man, great show. But I got to go join these truckers.
Yeah, we're gonna ride around DC. And
gotta go.
Cool. All right.
You have fun
Great
there.
Show. Thanks again.
I have a very not nice joke that I do with new people, and I shouldn't do it with new people, but I do it with new people because I may never see them again, and I'm almost guaranteeing that I don't. My producer is a member of the TV Academy, and he took me to this event last Tuesday at the TV Academy, and they have food and stuff, and they showed they were doing it for this Apple Plus show Acapulco, which is it was good. It's a good show. I have not started watching it, but they show the pilot. They have the cast come and do a Q&A, and then afterwards, people are just kind of sitting around. Eating. There's a red carpet. Everybody in Hollywood wants to get their pictures taken. It's like a schmoozy event, and Noam and I hit it off with some people who were talking, and I'm like, hey, we should connect, and we trade the social medias or the emails and the phone numbers. But I can't help myself. And when Jonathan's in a social situation and it's going well because he doesn't actually have to have an in-depth conversation, he can just stay funny and cursory, then I feel like I can get away with silliness because they've been laughing for the last hour. And so as I go to hug this person, and this is a joke I've been doing with my friends as you start to see them again after the pandemic, I'll hug them like, hey, goodbye, give a hug, and then I'll whisper into the ear, I ain't getting no damn vaccine. Just like you have to say it with like a breathy voice and a little bit of an accent, and like let the hug hold a little bit till it be like, I got you, like you're it kind of thing.
No one's me.
I ain't getting no
nowhere near my
Feel free, Geekscapists, people you haven't seen in a while, maybe they don't know your podcast, play that game with them and just see how it goes. I just felt this person kind of like go stiff and be like, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
The world is my stage, boys.
Well, Nate and I are not like that.
It's a game. Like, is this person gonna punch me?
Yeah,
a game we like to play.
We actually got along immediately.
Yeah.
Like as soon as we met, instant friends, and like we have a lot of little things in common that a lot of people don't have in. And one is Nate was on a submarine in the Navy. And you don't find a lot of comedians that have done military service, especially improvisers, that they just really don't overlap. And then I was in the Marines Reserves, and we both were in it, and we both hated it. So it was like perfect. It was like, hey, you hate this thing, I also hate this thing. Oh, let's talk about how much we hate this thing, but also we're very proud that we are this thing.
It's a complicated relationship.
And it's like, do you understand this sad relationship? I understand this sad relationship. It's really great.
But how did those backgrounds help you in your comedic and like improv skills? But Nate, you got to think that like having a literal captive audience in this damn submarine.
I mean,
I guess Nate told me some. Would you like to tell him? Well, answer his question. Sorry, but then could you please tell one of your funny sub stories?
So like, I would work on stuff on the boat, right? That's kind of when I figured out I could be a comedian. I could do this, right? Not that I ever did anything, but that
this is right out of high school or something.
Pretty much, yeah. Like the first year of college when I passed racquetball, and that was, kind of it. So
that's a big time in everyone's life. I remember the first time I passed racquetball.
I was not a student at the time, so my car broke down in a strip mall, and I was waiting for my cousins to come tow it away, and there were 4 recruiting offices right there, and you know what? I had a moment of.
It's almost predatory how they're just in strip malls.
And the sailor walked out, so I walked in and joined. I went to boot camp 2 weeks later because my car broke down. That is a true story.
It was because you were like at a financial strait that you were like, you know what? I got to figure out how to like fix this damn thing. I'm going to give them the next couple years of my life.
That's exactly what happened. I was failing college, and I'm like, well, I don't know what else to do. My car is broken down in this strip mall with the recruiting offices. I took it as a sign, so I joined the Navy.
Insane.
Holy crap.
My dad basically forced me, and I did it to pay for college. So we had exact opposite.
That's responsible, but your dad forced you just because he didn't want to pay for college, or that was a good option to help him out, or what?
My grandpa served in the Army during World War II, and my grandpa. Is that right? During World War II?
I don't know.
Make that up?
Yeah, that would be a grandpa. If you and I are similar dates,
born in 1918.
1918 would be World War II.
Yeah, he was World War II. He was in the Army in World War II, paratrooper, and then my dad was in the Marines on an aircraft carrier, like an old diesel aircraft carrier.
And that would have been
when it came to me. I was like clearly not the person. Like it's not for me. It's not the environment I enjoy being in. The military, let alone the Marines, which are just insanely over the top, and it's all about murdering people, and it's just really not my jam. But at the time, I signed up August 2001, thinking that there would be little chance of going to war, and I will just have to do my 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. And then September 11th happened, and I didn't know at the time that the contract you sign doesn't matter until you go to boot camp, and then once you sign, that's your real contract. So I could have got out at any time. I didn't know that, but also at the time, everyone was very patriotic, and I felt like I was doing the right thing. And then my thing is all like, then we invade Iraq. It has nothing to do with any of that, and it's a complicated thing. So yeah, Nate and I have this complicated relationship with the military. For me, it really didn't help me out because none of the Marines found it funny.
That siren means Matt just added another show to the network. So way to go, Matt.
Anyway, but Nate was able to get some really funny stories because he was just in a submarine underwater. So there's
nothing to do.
Yeah, nothing at all. It turns out I'm really good. I'm really good at annoying people.
I mean, y'all were funny in high school or in college before this, right? Like, it's not like you weren't funny and then suddenly you're stuck in a tin can in the ocean.
No, I've always been, kind of, I've tried to make jokes. Pretty much, it was my way of coping with everything. And, I've just sort of always kind of been the funny guy. So, on the boat, like, there's one short story I'll tell. We had the cruise mess is where we would all eat lunch and dinner, right? The cruise, kind of like say, we would play games, all this kind of stuff. Well, anyways, we had one boss come on, this chief, and he forbade us from using the cruise mess on Sundays unless we were eating or in a church service, right?
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
like, we get one day off when you're underwater. That's Sunday. So basically, you took away our day off. Like the whole crew is very, very upset. So we pulled into port like 2 days later. I got my best friend at the time, this guy named Curtis Bell. And we went to a Walmart and we bought a bunch of supplies. We get back down on the boat. The first Sunday that comes up, I set up in the cruise mess. I've got a big black cloak. I've got a bunch of little candles and a Ouija board. And so we started worshiping the devil. We're going like, oh, devil. Yeah, like real dumb stuff. Oh, devil, please grant us blah, blah, blah. Anyways, like everybody flips out. And, we're like, well, yeah, you said we could worship. We love the devil now.
Yeah, they did. They were. I mean, I was thinking they were probably thinking something a little more Judeo-Christian, but they didn't specify, and that's on them.
Yeah, so it's on them.
Hey,
so
this is a Satan household.
Yeah,
I walk in on Nate. Sometimes there's a lot of pig's blood. Let's just say that.
I will say we got the cruise mess back the next week. So I mean, the devil did something for me.
I'm trying to keep us alive here, okay?
What side do you think God is on?
We are at a giant machine built to kill people.
Yeah.
Do you really think that we're on God's side here?
Yeah.
No.
We're even close.
This is a killing machine.
Yeah.
We're so close to hell.
Let me tell you a few things I know about Jesus. One, didn't go underwater.
He walked
Stood
on
top
water.
it.
He walked on it. He wouldn't touch the stuff.
Yeah. He turned water into wine.
He turned it into wine. He didn't. He was like,
I never.
Water.
What story did you hear about where he had tried to kill somebody?
He definitely never popped out of the water like a ninja or a submarine and tried to kill somebody.
That is true.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And also, when that happens, when the sub does that, it's so much fun. When it pops out of the water like that, it is a blast.
Because it goes up at an angle, right? Like in the movies?
Sharp angle. You're standing.
And then you slam down or what?
Yeah. So it pops up. You feel like weightless for just a split second. Then you do a boosh, and then the whole boat does this. And then you do this the whole time you're on the surface. You get real used to just rocking. But
dang,
yeah,
it's a tube.
Yeah.
And Bacon, you never got in trouble in the military for being funny guy? Of course you did.
It's just I shouldn't have gone in. My last name is Bacon. I'm 6'6". My hair color is the color of skin. I have a dominant brow ridge. All these things that are just easily to point me out of a crowd. I got called out all the time. Targeted. Probably the funniest story from boot camp was when you go to the chow hall. That you still don't have a break to eat lunch. You go to the chow hall and you're still in Marine boot camp mode. You still have to be like, when you go up to get your food, you have to say, for breakfast, you have two choices of sausage or bacon. I didn't enjoy the bacon that they had at boot camp because they didn't cook it, really.
They didn't in the Navy either.
Yeah. I think that's just a whole military thing. They're like, this is how you cook bacon. And you have to read this government document that's from 1900 when they're just like, eating raw pork is good for you.
It's the only thing they don't have time for.
Yeah.
Bacon.
Yeah. They're like, oh, it's done. It's wet. Do you like it wet? How do you like it? How wet do you like your bacon?
I would the wettest. Please.
Yeah, it's wetter than a pickle.
Delicious.
Anyways, so didn't like the bacon. Is what I'm trying to get at. And I would usually get the sausage because that was already pre-cooked. So
impossible to fuck up.
Impossible, right?
And it's like still cooking kind of in the water too, right? Like
water it'll steam in there at least.
Yeah, stuff, at least, yeah.
Yeah, but usually there's
enough salt.
I can't believe you're starting to remind me.
They're trying to turn you into killers.
Yeah,
they're like,
that's part of it.
We'll destroy everything. They'll burn the damn earth down. So what happened?
So I get sausage, and you have to be like, to pick your choice, sausage recruit, and they give you your sausage, and you move down, and your elbows have to be tight, just like you're holding your weapon, and you move all the way down, and you get to pick between things, and you say, like, toast recruit, and then you get your thing, and then you get to the end, and at the end,
what's
of the
that
line,
last word?
Recruit.
Recruit.
Toast recruit.
Yeah, so everything is something recruit. We would have to say
Recruit.
semen recruit.
Oh, toast.
maybe.
Yeah, toast.
If we were talking to, so there was another recruit on the other side. I went through when you went through boot camp, you also had to do a week of the chow hall stuff, but they got rid of that because now it's all private contractors. But that's neither here nor there. So I'm trying to make this story not an hour long.
No, we got time.
If they were a recruit on the side, you would call them recruit, and then you can't even say like me or I or we. You would say this recruit, because you didn't. You couldn't say like, hey, you. If you said that to a drill instructor, you would no longer be alive.
Yeah, you would be dead.
Yeah, they'd be like, I'm a sheep, and they yell at you.
Oh, they got a sense of humor too. Yeah, I can see where you is. Jesus.
The burns that they have are really, really great. Anyway, so you go to the end of the line, and the drill instructor is at the end, and he has to check everyone's food to make sure, like, if you know if you're supposed to have double portions or you're supposed to have less.
I was on half.
Or it's supposed to be cooked. Like fuck. Like
that was not part.
No.
To see if
the most important thing is it edible.
No, that was never.
Yeah, no, I don't think that was even taken into consideration.
And this is so. Then he gets it, and you go, "Good morning, sir," and then he tells you to fuck off, and then you go sit down. But I think this was a Sunday, so they had extra time, and that was the worst day in boot camp. Is when you woke up and there wasn't a lot planned, and you're like, "Oh God,
they're gonna get creative." Yeah,
we could do whatever they want. So this was a Sunday, and I get to the end, and he goes, "What the fuck is this?" And he holds up the little half-cooked sausage, and I go, "Sausage, sir!" And he goes, "What the fuck is this?" And he points at my name tag and goes, "Recruit bacon, sir." It's like, go back and get yourself. So I had to go back in the line and get the bacon. So I get the bacon. Bacon recruit. Got it. Go to
just
the front.
to entertain this fucker.
Yes.
Yeah. This is the fun story. So I get to the end, and he goes, "What the fuck is this?" And he holds up the bacon as it's dripping, just water is pouring out of it, like he opened up a clam or something. And I said, "That's bacon, sir." And he goes, "That's not enough for all of this. Go back and get yourself." So I had to go back, and they basically gave me like whatever was left in the tray, like this pile of floppy, saggy bacon. And then I was able to go sit down, and you have to finish everything on your plate. So I had to eat. But this is like, I think this is like week 9 in boot camp.
Yeah.
So like I am rail thin. I think I'm like 190 pounds. My stomach is the like size of a walnut. I gullet this soggy bacon down, and then we all have to like run outside to get in formation. And as I'm running to get out in formation, I'm just throwing up the bacon. And in Marine boot camp, you can't spit on the ground, you can't throw up, you can't do any of that stuff. So if somebody like spit when they were running, they'd make them go back and pick it up. They'd say like, find it and pick it up and put it in your pocket. They made me pick up all my throw up and put it in my pockets, like all my pockets throughout the day. And I think we had to go to a classroom that day. Anyway, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is you don't even get a washer dryer in boot camp. You have to wash your own clothes with like a brush and some soap out on a piece of concrete and a water spigot. And I had to like turn my pockets inside out and get all that bacon out of there.
Jesus.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
But a part of me is like, okay, well, how'd that asshole end up on like dinner duty too? You know what I mean? Like that like that's what you kind of realize is like that guy was a fuck up of his own. You know what I mean? Like
no, that's just what they do to you. That's all 3 of them will they really break you down, get your mind like so you could function when shit is hitting the fan. So that's really all I've learned is like when things go down or like when stuff gets tense, I'm like laser focused. Like a car caught on fire in the backyard of 91 Donkey Lane,
That was true. That actually happened.
Yeah,
the third week of quarantine.
Yeah.
Our neighbor's car started on fire.
Just a big truck started on fire. And it was like the middle of the night, and I opened up my eyes and I instantly knew everything that was going on, and I was already calling the police before my girlfriend was even awake.
Wow.
She's like, "What's going on?" I'm
Go
like,
back to
"Car's
bed.
on fire."
I'm gonna try and puke on it.
I have some soap in my pockets.
So I mean, I'm gonna butcher this in trying to describe the show, but it's you two living together in in the apartment that we see now. Y'all are roommates, but it is a magical place.
Yes,
and doorways can have anything going on, like anything goes in 91 Donkey Lane.
Yep,
we have several sub basements with creatures and magical items, and upstairs tiles. If you step on a tile, there's a truth telling tile. There's a pee your pants tile. That one is really annoying.
How much of this is like how much of this are y'all just kind of like roommates living your day to day, and then something in the apartment kind of just motivates you to turn it into a storyline or an improvisational piece?
We sort of look for anything, right? If we're having a conversation and we start, like, we do a lot of bits together, we'll just throw jokes around, just trying to figure out what works. And if we find something we really like, we immediately stop talking about it. And then we just figure out a time to come record. Yeah, because once we get an idea, we can just kind of roll with it from there.
And it's not as fun to us if we like sit back there and do like the writer's room and knock it out, because we start saying things to each other and then we go, stop. We like, let's go record. Yep. So because then it's just trying to get each other to laugh. And it's really fun because Nate and I actually really enjoy each other's company. We're roommates for a reason. We're great friends. He is in my wedding. But being on the podcast and like fake hating each other is so much fun.
It is a lot of fun, right? Like figuring out what dynamic works for us. I really, really enjoy the show. As we knew we wanted to do something improvised, and we knew we wanted to kind of make it like an anything goes sort of thing. We figured magic was the best way to do it, but like the dumb parts of magic,
We're always like, magic can never be cool. Like that's one of our rules of like every time. The thing that I think what we talked about when we were talking about making the show is like, anytime you see magic in a movie and TV and in pop culture, in books, it's usually like this cool thing, and there's so much greatness about it, and we're like, let's break it down.
Like what if it sucked? Like
it's a very majestic thing, and it's almost elitism, like where it's like, oh, you have to train to be a magician, or you have to go to go to a school for it, or you have to be in the castle.
Castle, like private only. It's ridiculous.
Hogwarts, that school, it's a private school, right? You have to be invited.
It's very snobby to be a magician, unless you're like Nate on a submarine and you're doing the dark arts.
Well, well, the devil answers prayers. That's all I'm saying. That's the official Geekscape take.
I thought the same thing about vampires, and vampires are always like the snootiest monsters because they're up in their castles or they're elite, and they always have like a ball and this and that. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. These guys can't hold jobs. They can't go out in the day.
What we do in the shadows. Perfectly. That's like
they should just be losers.
Yes. One of our favorite shows is What We Do in the Shadows. Because again, it's just like, no, being a vampire would be annoying.
There's no way you would be successful at anything because and so magic to y'all in the show is more of an annoyance. But it is, but it's part of paying the rent. Like that's where y'all live.
Yeah, it absolutely pays the rent.
Well, that was the original premise, but things did change when one of our guests made like, this is all this is all improvised, and we just, if you say it, it's true.
It's true
on our show.
And we have to remember it forever.
Well, we try to remember it.
It's canon.
Good God, I don't know the rules. So one of our guests, James Dugan, was it?
I can't remember.
One of our guests made Nate a wizard, or just planted the seed of the wizard. So then that completely changed the show, and that was pretty early on, actually.
Yeah. So in the show, I'm a very my character is very, very lazy, very sexually free, and a full wizard
Bears,
now.
snails, himself.
It's yeah. So it snowballed into this like ridiculous version of myself, and he's still named Nate, and like and I don't change anything about my voice for him. So
But it's all hedonism, and then
that's
suddenly
exactly what it is. It's purely the id, right? And so Bacon is a really, really great like opposite side, foil to that kind of character. It just it works, man. I just really like what Bacon does.
And then suddenly you've got this little kernel of maybe you have some magic power.
Yep.
And then just giving Nate magic powers and then making it so I don't, and that I hate it so much, and that Nate does everything the way that I wouldn't do it. It's just so much fun to play.
It really is.
And Nate,
where did the idea come from? Like did it come in when y'all were like moving in together? How long have y'all been living together that you're like, hey, let's make a semi-autobiographical podcast about our lives, but with fictional elements?
So the idea kind of sprung from the dumbest thing in the world. I was living in Austin. Bacon was in Chicago, and our mutual friend we talked about was in Boston. We watched this stupid reality show,
The
Proposal. It was hosted by Jesse Palmer, and there would be 30 bachelors or 30 bachelorettes and one person who is going to propose or get proposed to at the end of this half-hour reality show.
And they don't see them at first.
The
person who does the main person is behind what looks like a World Series trophy.
We're getting deep into proposal lore.
I don't see how this works. Like, it's a lot of fucking people.
It's so many people.
They get cut right away, right in the beginning.
So it's basically just like looks, right? Like it's like, I don't like the way you look. I don't like the way you look. I don't like the way you look.
Well, the first round is all about looks, and then they try to make it like, and now let's get into like the real bits about them.
It's so stupid, but we would watch this over the PlayStation 4 network and just throw bits at each other. And it would take us 4 hours to watch this 45-minute show, right? Yeah. And so Bacon and I, we started talking like because we had some bits rolling around in there that
one of the bits that went from that's on the show is the way that we speak in like fake legalese, really shitty legalese, because that came in. I'm like, every time you watch like a lawyer TV show, it's all wrong.
It's
and
all
none of this
stupid,
goes.
right?
Yeah, so we like just take it to the max every time. Somebody would say something and be like, Your Honor, I disagree.
So that was just from watching this stupid show. So
but y'all are like making these bits, but like where the hell are the bits going? It's like a part of me is like, okay, you're writing the bits, but are you doing it to write a script? Are you doing it to put on stage together? Y'all are living like miles apart. Like the bits are going to lead to what?
Well, they kind of led, I knew I was going to move back to Boston, right? And Bacon kind of decided to move here at the same time. So we when we figured out we were going to move in together, we're like, well, you got all the recording equipment, And
it was always going to be a podcast.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was easy. It was like, hey, and I was leaving behind a podcast.
Yeah.
The Adam Sandler Please Stop. And, I'm just like, hey, guys, it's going to be too difficult. Just imagine not being in the same room as somebody and trying to do a podcast.
Guys, I'm stretched too thin.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I couldn't fly him.
Talking about pop culture, it's really, I'm sorry.
How far we've come in 2019. That idea was like frowned upon, and now it's like, 91 Donkey Lane is going to continue.
Yeah, it's going to continue.
Well, Jason Bush hey Jason, how are you, man? He's in the YouTube, and he's like OG Geek Drum fan. That was the show I did before Geekscape. So that dude's that's 16 years ago. So what's up, Jason? How are you?
That's either a true fan or a stalker.
Yeah,
one of the two.
You can tell by beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, well, you can tell by the letter you get if it's printed out. Or if it's cut out letters from a magazine.
Yeah,
that'll tell you.
Yeah, you know what? Anytime anybody listens to one episode, watches one episode or whatever, or is like Matt Kelly and has been here, since the beginning of Geekscape and stuff like that. Like I'm just down for that.
Honestly, we are too. Yeah,
people don't need to listen to everything. And I know I was telling this to the Saturday Morning Showdown kids today at lunch. I said that we had this Bat Week where we had the executive producer of the new Batman film.
Mm-hmm.
We had Ian and I talking the new Batman movie, and I was like, this is super concentrated comic book conversation. These numbers are going to do great. So it did not do as well as when I had the Stereo on a week earlier, where those boys are a rock band that has been defunct for over 10 years and are now getting together to put out a new album after over a decade. But back in like 1999, 2000, they were one of the hot new bands that were going to be part of that new emo thing that was going to go into the early 2000s, and they just never clicked in. They just they saw like Fall Out Boy and all these other bands just kind of, and that got more numbers than the Batman thing. I just don't know how this shit works after 15 years. So I'm just glad people come in, whether it's like Jason coming back after 15 years or Bolt T who's here whenever we broadcast. Like, just thankful to have people who care, even if it's just for an episode or two.
It is cool. We do have some fans who like one or two who reach out from crazy places. It's the weirdest feeling. Like our audience-ship is still very, very small, but having people reach out, yeah, man, it's awesome. I love it.
Especially now since our 100th episode is coming out.
Yep.
I haven't told you this, Nate, but we've gotten a couple messages, like a couple emails, and and then we've gotten a bunch of voicemail messages. Actually, yeah, if you're listening to this, you can. We're still have like a week.
Yeah.
Before we record our 100th episode, you can give us a call on our phone number. It's 6363 donkey. That goes right to our voicemail message, and you could leave us a voicemail. You could be a character. You could be like a bat calling
that would
about
be cool.
Keys that you left at our house or something.
Yeah, and bats need keys.
Bats need for their Batmobiles.
Exactly, because the sonar doesn't work.
Exactly, and that's the joke. So write that down. And here you go, Mr. Conan O'Brien. I will take my check.
There we go. I threw the number up on the
screen. Yeah. The real number is
impossible.
It's 636.
It's like 63633. It's so bad.
It's been 3 years. Still don't have it memorized because it's literally impossible. Here it is. It's 636-336-6539.
It's such a bad number.
It's a bad number, but 6363 donkey.
That's a good number.
That's kind of crazy. And you put that in on purpose. You didn't miraculously end up with a number that just spelled out donkey, I'm hoping.
No, I googled how to like what numbers on a keypad give you a certain thing, and then I went on Google Voice and I picked that exact one, and 6363 donkey was the only one that had donkey in it.
Yeah.
So Matt says you got to ask Bacon the Forrest Gump bit.
Oh, okay. Nate, you were part of this bit.
Yeah.
It's called Forrest Hump. It's a very classy bit. And we did this at a one-off show called Kerfuffle here.
Yeah, it's a little variety show here in Boston.
And what we did was, it was Tom Hanks night at the strip club. And Nate was the
MC.
The
premise.
That's the premise.
Yeah, not just this weird ass fucking club y'all are in. That's just like
we roll fucking hard in Boston. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if there is one, I will be there. Tom Hanks night at a strip club.
I would go see that. Yeah.
I would go there.
Yeah. So our bit, I was the DJ. I was the main guy at this Tom Hanks themed strip club, right? So I started calling. My whole job in this was very, very easy. It was just to make dick puns out of
like the
Tom
first
Hanks movies.
The first guy out there was Blastaway, and he was dressed as Tom Hanks in the movie Castaway.
That's right. I forgot. We pulled a guy out of the audience to wear his underwear and hold a volleyball.
And then Splash is just like, that's just too easy.
That's like Boys was another one. Yeah. Toy Story. I mean, yeah.
Anyway, so then he calls me out. I'm Forrest Hump, and the whole thing is like I do a strip dance to that the
feather one,
but it's a remix. It's a hard remix.
Yep,
a good remix, a thick remix, and it ends with me with those running shoes on, and long socks and tighty whities, and I do to someone on stage, I do the whole monologue that Forrest does to Jenny's grave.
So the host of this
It's like
show,
the heart of the movie. That's like
Yes,
the climax
yes.
of the movie where
Yes.
he's turned into such a good kid, and like
Yes.
he's so smart. He's
so
like,
smart.
Yeah.
He's so smart.
You died on a Saturday morning.
Yeah. So,
but this isn't a podcast what you're talking about. This is shit that you actually did on stage.
yeah, this is
in
a
front of
stage show.
yeah, this
In
is in front of
costume.
people.
Yeah, there's 100 people, maybe.
100
Yeah.
people.
The host of the show is a good friend of mine. She was the
Still.
Oh yes. Yeah.
She was the lady who was asked to come up on stage.
Yeah, so she got the lap dance and she got the funeral.
Yeah.
The
And the best
speech.
part was he wrote you a letter, and then I go in the back of my tidy whities, and I pull out a card, and it says "To Mommy," and I give it to her. And then the last bit was the music starts again, and then when I reach into my pants and the audience thinks I'm going to pull out my penis, but I would not do such a thing. I pull out a white feather.
He dances off stage.
And I dance off stage.
And then I do more.
Then you're
puns.
like, oh yeah, we did more Forrest Gump dick puns.
Yep.
That's all it was.
That's all it was. Well, that was my job. I got the easy job.
What the hell do y'all do for work?
I am a senior technical trainer for applied materials. I'm a semiconductor instructor.
Uh-huh.
So does anybody understand what he just said?
No one does.
Somebody's got to learn how to use those semiconductors.
From what I understand, Nate, you work at the place that makes the tools that make semiconductors.
Yes.
So Nate knows how the tools work that make semiconductors.
Yes.
And he trains people.
Yes, and I train people all over the world to do that.
And
That's cool.
It pays the bills.
Yeah.
And how much do you have to delineate the improv from the job? Because it's maybe not like going into the mess hall and walking around.
It makes me a better instructor. I'm able to talk to anyone. I can talk about anything. I'm a real great bullshitter when I need to be, So,
and do people discover it? Like I've had situations as a college professor where people are like, I mean, just the first day of class, I've had this happen where I'm going through the syllabus or I'm going around class, meeting the students on the first day of the quarter, and they go, hold on. Geekscape. And I go, excuse me? And they're like, I listened to I should have made the connection when
That's
I saw the name on the class. Like, you do Geekscape. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a problem for the next 11 weeks or whatever. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But eventually some of the kids end up listening to, or like Garrett Briones, he ends up doing a podcast, and Jack, they end up doing a podcast on the network. We have ex-students and of mine end up working with it, but it is always coming as a shock when people are like, oh, I listened to the podcast.
Honestly, it's happened to me once, and it was a friend at the gym, and not really a friend, a person at the gym. He's like, "Oh, it's weird hearing your voice like this." Like, it just doesn't happen to me I'm small stuff, right? But when they do find out I do comedy, it's always we'll tell a joke, I'm kind of that.
And the guy at the gym did that.
No. He the guy at the gym.
If he likes the podcast, he's not the kind of guy who would do that.
Yeah, no. He
tell me a joke. Be like, we don't tell jokes on that.
We need a bit. We need something like let's give it some. Yeah, we gotta find.
You want me to do a bit? Okay, I can do a bit.
The guy at the gym didn't know I went to the gym, and he's like, your voice," and then it was 91 Donkey Lane, but he'd
never seen you in person.
No, but he was passed the podcast by a friend of mine, so we had a mutual. So I don't know if I count it, but that's the only time it's ever happened to me ever.
I'm gonna put that. Let's count that one. I think let's count that one. That one goes in there. I count and think, what do you do?
I'm a video producer. So that's what I've done my entire adult career. So I work for this company. It's a white label company. So we do basically all the tech and all the call centers and all the stuff that's needed for roadside assistance. So if you have like State Farm or Progressive, or you get a new Ford and you get roadside assistance, that's actually my company. We like do all the behind the scenes stuff. So what I do is I have to make these videos to like sell our products to different companies. Or like next week, I'm going to Detroit. I'm going to the Ford plant to do some specific towing videos on their new EVs, because electric vehicles have like a totally different way that they need to be towed, otherwise they get ruined.
Ripped off, like
Yeah.
you ripped the front off of the damn thing.
Oh, that's not even. It's
back
the
of it.
motor.
Road.
It's really the
The
motors
motor.
and
Wow.
the tires and stuff. So there's
It's
and
like
there's
over winding up a car when you have a wind up car. When it
Ooh.
goes into the clicks, it's bad.
Yeah, that's when it goes bad.
So it's always been
Oh.
great to have a job like this where I could do creative things, not really that creative, you know.
There's some parameter.
It's all corporate, you know, but it pays the bills, and it's not like if I wanted to work at like an agency, or then you're really being put through the ringer, or if I wanted to work for like a TV show or something. So this allows me to live a life and still be able to do my comedy. And when I was in Chicago, I was doing a TV and commercial auditions and voiceover auditions, and I'm going to be doing that when I go back there. So it's nice to have a job where I could be like, I'm going to go take off for 2 hours during the middle of the day, and they're like, just finish that video, I don't care, you know.
But the end goal for this is like y'all want to end up like making a show or doing a comedy thing, like, right? Like,
I think there's if the opportunity arose, I don't think either one of us would turn it down.
No,
yeah,
never
you
in a
know,
million.
but it's not something y'all like. I'm not like, you're not like the asshole in LA like I am, being like, hey, just keep scratching that lotto ticket, maybe tomorrow. Like, that's not something y'all are
think-
like like that's not part of the tunnel vision.
Not right now. At this point,
Yeah.
man, I just like doing comedy with Bacon.
Yeah.
You know, I think we have something that just kind of works, you know, and I really, if we're making something that I still enjoy listening to, you know, and I'm real proud of this work we've done. So I'm like,
and it's fun.
man, and it's just fun.
It's just
you
so
know?
much fun. This is us playing pickup basketball.
Yeah,
this is us.
it really is. It blows my mind that people actually listen to it. You know, I think that's such a cool little cherry.
Better your mind than your knee.
Yeah.
I've had that happen twice.
Oh no.
Yeah, better blow your mind than a knee. Like, that's
Exactly.
great. As we get older, let's do that instead of pick up
Let's do
basketball. It's a
that.
very healthy
Listen to
thing
our
to do.
podcast and stop playing basketball.
There you
That's
go.
an official Geekscape.
That's official Geekscape
Official
rule.
rule.
Why are you playing
Great.
sports? The Geekscape
Stop playing
Network.
sports. We're
Exactly.
all against all sport.
That's
We
right.
should
Any
make that
sport.
on our. We should definitely put that on the pod. On the, yeah, it's a new shirt for the pod for the San Diego Comic-Con group.
Against
You
all sport.
Yeah.
when I was asking you, Bacon, like what we should talk about on this episode, because I knew we were just going to freewheel it. I know that like it was kind of a dead weekend at movies. There wasn't a whole lot of going on, you know. And then I don't think y'all are like up to date on the comic stuff. So the news and reviews stuff that goes out the window. But I was like, what should we talk about? And you said you just saw this documentary called The Sweatbox, and I honestly thought you were freaking joking and being completely sarcastic in your email, because you were like, I just watched this documentary about how Disney had Empire of the Sun turn into the Emperor's New Groove, and I was like, why would anybody make a documentary about that? And is that really a thing that happened?
Yeah.
And I dismissed it. I'll be honest. I like saw it and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird joke, but okay. And then you wrote back and said, yeah, can we actually talk about the documentary, because it's really good? And I just typed in The Sweatbox to like Google. Like, I actually typed in Emperor's New Groove documentary, and I found the Wikipedia for The Sweatbox. The story's insane.
Mm-hmm.
That I just thought Emperor's New Groove was Emperor's New Groove, and it was part of like Disney post 90s trying to find a new like thing that would work.
Yeah, but it was.
I've never actually
supposed
seen
to
the
be-
movie.
It was. Oh, you've never seen it?
I've never seen the movie. Yeah,
I think it's really good.
I think it's
still.
funny.
It's
I think it's funny.
That's the best part about learning about this.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, The Emperor's New Groove was originally called Kingdom of the Sun, and it was supposed to be a big, epic movie a la The Lion King. They even got the Lion King director and another guy to work together. Sorry, I don't know a lot of names. I forget.
but they also got Sting was going to do the music.
That was the thing. So they're like, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do The Lion King, except for it's going to be in South America. And instead of Elton John, we're going to get the Sting Man himself.
Famous South American.
Famous South American. Well,
Imagine if they got Sting for like. Imagine if they like had Sting for like Encanto or something. And they were like,
this is the way they thought. back
Lilo
in
and
the day.
Stitch.
Yeah,
not that Moana was necessarily done by a Polynesian, but whatever.
So this was the original idea, big thing, right?
Okay.
And Sting's wife, because he was asked to do this, decided, I'm gonna I'm gonna do the behind the scenes, help make this documentary about Sting making the music for this South American Lion King, essentially.
Yeah.
But the story was, it was The Prince and the Pauper, where there's a prince and he's really stuck up and he's really vain, and he finds another guy that looks exactly like him, and they switch places so he could do all the hard work and he could do all the fun stuff. But then he gets turned into a llama, and it's him working his way back is the original story. And there's also a lot of mythology thrown in there, and it's like this big epic story.
That actually sounds great.
Yeah,
it does sound wonderful.
Yeah, and Sting does all the music.
I'm
Right?
still a Sting fan.
That's,
Yeah,
Okay.
Well,
I'm still there. Well, he has like 2 good songs.
You're still stung.
I'm gonna say this: I'm not a huge Sting music fan, but after watching the documentary, huge Sting as a person fan.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a
Because,
legit dude.
You watch this documentary, and it's clear just through this whole documentary that Disney is mismanaged. They don't know what they're doing. They're putting their writers and their animators through the ringer when they don't need to. And they talk to these animators who are all in charge of one specific character, like Yzma. And this guy is like really into Yzma. And there's so much to Yzma's character. And it's Eartha Kitt, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Is the voice?
Yeah.
Is the voice Eartha Kitt? And
Yeah.
Eartha Kitt brought so much to this role and so much to this character, and he loved it so much, and they kept changing the movie over and over and over again until Yzma became basically a shell of herself, and the whole movie became just a farce, and a movie that I really loved when it came out, and I still really love. It's a good movie. It's just like
straight up, but it's a straight up comedy, right? It's like David
comedy
Spade
farce.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be more than that. So you find out through this documentary all this stuff. One of the best parts about it is every time they go back to Sting, because it takes like years to go through this. And every time they go back to Sting, he's in some different country. He's like, and then it's like, let's go. Where's Sting? He's in Peru. And then he's like, and then where's Sting now? He's in Australia.
Yeah.
And then and it's Sting complaining about how the guys at Disney aren't telling him anything. The higher ups at Disney make them make these whole storyboarded movies, and then they completely change everything. At the end of the movie, the higher ups are all like, I really enjoy this creative process, and all the animators are like, this was complete and utter hell. I hate it.
They're not the ones in the trenches.
Yeah.
So it really just totally encapsulates like why a lot of those movies during that time at Disney were just such a mess. And not because it started.
But they're trying to hit that magic again. I think one of the best Disney documentaries again is that Waking Sleeping Beauty, about how they entered into that era of the Aladdin, Lion King, like Little Mermaid, because they were like, you know what? Let's shutter the animation division. It's all about live action. That's where we're making our money. And then the Eisner Katzenberg partnership came in, and they were like, hey, let's actually try and fix this. And I think Waking Sleeping Beauty is great. This sounds awesome, but this also sounds like something that's not available. Where could I even see this documentary?
Thank you for asking. I also thought that it was unavailable because
it sounds like something that would shame the parent company and be like, hey, look how your history was mismanaged.
This is what makes the documentary that much more sweet, is because it was commissioned by Disney, this behind the scenes documentary. Disney owns the rights to it, so they're never going to officially release something that shits all over them. You could watch it for free on the Internet Archive. You just type in the Sweatbox download or the Sweatbox movie watch, and it's on Internet Archive for free.
And that's that archive.org. That's that archive.org site. That's like all the public domain stuff. Yeah.
Yep. And because you get to watch it, and it's not the complete final cut. They haven't put in all the music yet. There's a time code at the bottom. It's 360p, but it's interesting enough, and the sound quality is good enough that we really enjoyed it. I watched it with my fiance, and she had never seen Emperor's New Groove, and she loved the documentary. And then we watched Emperor's New Groove, and she liked Emperor's New Groove. She said it started.
Once you watch the documentary, you're like thinking about what could have been.
Yes, but she still said like it's insane how good that movie was considering where it started and how bad. That just shows how much talent Disney had.
Yeah, I mean they made Lion King, you know.
Mhm.
They still had.
Well, hold on here, guys. Y'all live together.
Yeah.
Nate, you have do you have a kid?
I have 2 kids.
You have
Yeah.
2 kids, and then
He has one kid he likes.
okay, but Bacon, you're about to get married again, or married? That's me,
Again?
about to get married again. But you're about
No,
to get
for
married
the first time.
For the
for the
first time.
time.
Yep.
First
And,
time.
but
I've been married
does she live with y'all?
No. She comes on the weekends.
What the hell's gonna happen here? Like
This
the
weekend,
91 Donkey Lane's gonna end up getting like a back house? Like, are y'all gonna split the lane? What's going on?
Oh,
This is
yeah.
a very suspenseful thing.
Oh, I guess.
Have y'all
this is
thought
our-
about like what you're
Yeah.
gonna
I guess
do?
on the podcast we never actually
We haven't
talked
really
about.
addressed it. Yeah.
Yeah, it came up that I was engaged, and was like, why did we even bring that up?
Well, so the podcast is not stopping. Our 91 Donkey Lane
World?
Yeah, the
World.
world is
It's
going
still
to keep
there.
going. Yeah,
Yeah.
in Donkey Lane,
We're just going to do it remote.
Yeah,
That's all.
Yeah,
Bacon,
we'll still do it.
Bacon, are you moving to Chicago?
Yeah, just announced it on social media because we're going through the home buying process, which is a nightmare.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you ended up being a magician, so like
That's a good point.
whatever.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you ended up with magic powers.
Yeah. So Ruth and I have are purchasing a place in the Buena Park neighborhood of Chicago, and yeah, I'm going to be setting up a whole new studio in that space. Really excited to do that. Nate's going to get just the same microphones that we have now, and a little mixer, and then we'll just do it remotely. And I bet you no one will even know the difference.
Yeah.
Like Nate, how are you feeling about this? Any trepidation on the magic still being there?
I think, you know,
Or are you gonna have to
because
watch the proposal?
Exactly.
you know, the way it started and stuff. Yeah, it feels like it's just an extension. But we'll probably watch if the proposal ever comes to season 2. There is a 100% chance we'll watch it,
and we might podcast that.
Yeah, we absolutely would watch. Oh man, it's such a terrible show. I love it so much.
So it's everything wrong with humanity.
It's
I think I'm gonna watch Emperor's New Groove before I watch that. But
you should.
But you never know. Ian
It's
Kerner
funny,
and I are gonna sit down for a little bit of Morbius here. So
the proposal started out as a movie called Empire of the Moon.
But the people over at Fox really screwed it all up.
well, dude, congrats on the proposal. Not the show. Congrats on the engagement and the impending nuptials, and congrats on the next life shift. And Nate, get it together.
You know what? I did once. Wasn't for me. Wasn't for me, Jonathan.
You already have the kids. What do you don't need to get married.
Yeah, we we did not have kids on my first marriage, and
that was smart. That means you still have money.
We had Matt Kelly.
Oh,
and
I would rather.
And I kept Matt Kelly.
Hey,
wow.
look at that!
Look at that!
Wow!
And even though you passed by that fire department every day, you still didn't drop him off. Huh?
My condolences.
Yeah.
And Matt Kelly's still with us, so I think I won that one. I think I got the better end of that one, maybe. No, we love Matt, and you know what? Matt brought you guys to us here at the Geekscape Network, so I'm happy to have you.
Well, we're happy to be here, man. Y'all
that's
take
a good one. Geekscape is. Please subscribe to 91 Donkey Lane, especially since you're getting to their
20th
fifth episode spectacular trademark, and also fuck Ira Glass trademark.
Y'all can find it on any podcast app. Please do. And then Bacon's got a YouTube channel, which is fantastic because I mean, he threw some attention to my beloved Utah Jazz, so I'm indebted to him on that.
I am also a Utah Jazz fan.
I watched Kevin Durant rip them in the third quarter last night.
That was terrible.
Was fun,
no, they're gonna get bounced in the second round again, aren't they?
Let's
go sports.
It's gonna be a blood sport. As I was telling my dad yesterday, I was like, West is looking for like a 2 through 8 blood sport right about now. So we'll see. Maybe Nate will start a Utah Jazz podcast on the Geekscape Network.
We're the only two fans. So us and Wilford
two fans. And fellow comedian John Cleese.
That's right, John Cleese.
And I'm not messing around with that. I've never been prouder than when John Cleese totally dunked on Luka Doncic for punching Donovan Mitchell in the face a few weeks ago and ripped him on Twitter. And I was like, John Cleese stepping up for our guy. Let's go.
I think he's the face of our franchise right now, as far as fans go. Wilford Brimley's
love it.
gone, so we got
Wilford
John
Brimley's
Cleese.
gone, and we're not going to do any of the politicians in Utah. Yeah, let's
Oh,
go.
thank you. Yeah, no,
No,
There's
thanks.
a reason we live on the coasts.
Well, guys, this has been awesome. It's been great
Right.
getting to know y'all.
Yeah.
Now that you've only been on the network a few years.
Like to be
Geekscape is
mysterious.
get to know the boys, and I think y'all can jump in on any episode. You don't have to
You
go
pretty
back.
much can. You'll get the gist real quick.
You'll
get
It's,
the
it's not that smart.
It's not that smart. I mean, if there's one, I think Snowpiercer
Snowpiercer
or
is very
Total
good.
Recall.
Fucking love the
Recall is
Snowpiercer
very good.
episode.
Yeah, I think
Y'all are
Snowpiercer-
in Snowpiercer, fighting your ways up the fighting your way up the Snowpiercer.
And it would be like, what is real Snowpiercer?
Ooh, who
Real
knows?
Snowpiercer would have a bathroom every
every
other
other
cart.
one. There'd have to be
You'd
a
have
bathroom.
to. You
Yeah.
have to. Come on, Snowpiercer. Where's the
Yeah.
bathrooms?
It's
in
too
Snowpiercer?
cold outside to hang your ass out the window.
Exactly.
You can't do it. You can't
Someone's
do it.
thinking.
Come
Yep.
on.
That was
Your
ridiculous.
intestines would freeze and your poop would pop. That's
Yeah,
what
man.
that's science.
I was screaming in the theater.
You know, my other problem with that movie, they set up that they were feeding the poor people dead bodies. They
Yes.
telegraphed that for
Yeah.
train cars, and then it was bugs.
It was just bugs.
Where
Yeah.
did the bugs come
My
from?
biggest problem was they were like, we got to get to our kids, ooh, sushi.
Yeah,
And they just fucking like the kids can chill. I don't know if these kids are getting mutilated, killed, fed to bugs. I don't know what the kids are doing. Like they're so insistent on
Yes.
finding these kids, and then they get to the train car with sushi, and they're like, "What kids?"
exactly. Oh,
I
man.
was like, "Wait, let's stay."
That's a real tough movie once you think about it like that much.
And you got to. You got
You
to.
have to, yeah.
You want a realistic Batman? You're gonna take some hits.
It's
a
a
real
real
deep
allegory for society.
Yeah.
I want to know, like the hot tub room. Do you just stay there forever? I don't know. God, it's so
Who
weird.
cleans the hot tub room?
Yeah,
Who
why
refills
is
the
there
water?
not-
And where does that water come from?
Hot tub room should be right next to snow pile room. So you can run out of hot tub, go into snow pile room, run back.
I didn't understand any of it, man.
Yeah,
Not a bit.
not a single bit.
I'd watch it again.
But I think the best, no offense, it's Snowpiercer, and obviously that dude is an Oscar winner now with the Parasite. He's an incredible filmmaker, but
Amazing
my
filmmaker.
favorite thing that has come from Snowpiercer is that episode of 91 Docu Lane. So Geekscape is maybe search for that on your favorite podcatcher and go start there.
It's a very
Alright.
fun episode. Very, very fun.
Guys, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for
Geekscape
having
is
us.
like this is the network. We got 20 plus shows, and they range from pro wrestling to comedy to music to horror movies to filmmaking
Great
and all
garbage.
sorts of stuff. So just
Yeah.
come check out anything. Search for Geekscape on your favorite podcatcher, and find us on social media. The 91 Donkey Lane Boys are very active on Instagram at
Yes, we are.
Donkey Lane.
Yeah, it's at Donkey Lane.
At Donkey Lane is our Instagram. Every episode that we release, I draw a crude drawing on my iPad and I post it.
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, we have arguments on the comments. We do have a subreddit that we
that we barely use. Yeah, there's a 91 Donkey
we use
Lane
that to
subreddit.
argue too.
Yeah, mostly just different forms of arguing. Is all it is.
Well, Geekscape is you can also find Geekscape. Just search for anything on search for Geekscape on social media.
I
You'll
would do
find
that.
us. My favorite place to talk to y'all is on the Geekscape Forever Facebook group. That one's fun, and obviously we're on Instagram and Twitter and all this stuff. And wherever you're watching it, hit that little bell button and subscribe to Geekscape TV
Yeah.
or to our Twitch channel and get notified whenever we have another episode or Matt posts another video. We're working on those around the clock. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
This
you.
is-
Au revoir.
Au revoir, my friend. I ain't ever getting no vaccine. I'm kidding.
That's
All
right.
right.
Oh, no.
I'll talk to y'all later.
That was a herald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a